I'd like to bring this meeting, the Clay County Commission, to order. We will begin with our invocation. Mr. Administrator, when you are prepared, please proceed.
Pray with me. Father, we thank you for the blessings of the day, and each and every day we thank you for the blessing of living in a wonderful country of faithful patriots. We thank you for this particular session where we can go about the business of the county, and we ask that you be with us during this meeting and always. We ask this in Jesus' blessed name. Amen.
Thank you. Tonight we will do our pledge, but we have a special guest, Eagle Scout Colton Marshall, so he will lead us in our pledge. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Nolte?
Here.
Commissioner Thompson?
Here.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Here.
That brings us to approval of the agenda. Is there a motion related to approval of tonight's agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as printed.
Motion has been made for the approval of tonight's agenda. I would like to make one change. I would like to take 2021-242 and move that to a future meeting that would relate to the redistricting commission. So I think we need to do a little bit more work on that. With that, that's my motion. Is there any discussion?
No, thank you.
Seeing none, please call the roll.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Thank you. That brings us back to approval of the agenda. Now it is approval of the agenda as amended. Are there any further changes contemplated on tonight's agenda or any other comments?
Not for me.
Commissioner Thompson?
No, thank you.
With that, Commissioner Thompson, it was your motion, so you're recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
That brings us to meeting schedule. Mr. Administrator?
Commissioners, the next regularly scheduled meeting of the commission will take place on Wednesday, October the 6th, as a work session beginning at 2 p.m.
Thank you. That brings us to the next item on our agenda, which is honorary resolutions. We have one this evening. We have Eagle Scout resolution for Colton Marshall, who just a few moments ago did our Pledge of Allegiance. Colton is with Troop 357 here in Liberty, and we'd like to make some recognition whenever someone achieves the rank of Eagle Scout. Is something that we certainly on the commission have a lot of respect for, and that we certainly want to make sure that you get the proper recognition for. We've got a resolution here for you, and it lists a few of your accomplishments, but certainly for a man of your age, you've come up with an awful lot here to be proud of and that you have accomplished. With that, I'll open the floor up to our other commissioners.
I just want to say congratulations, Colton. This is obviously a great accomplishment. As a former Boy Scout myself in Troop 180 who never made Eagle, I want to congratulate you on doing so. It's an amazing organization, and you should be very proud. And I think hopefully there are benefits and takeaways that will help you in your journey for the rest of your life. And congratulations.
Commissioner Thompson?
Thank you. No, I agree with my fellow commissioners. This is quite an accomplishment. You should be very proud, and I'm sure your parents are as well. So congratulations once again.
And as another scout who did not make it as far as you did, also from Troop 180 as it turns out, certainly you have our admiration for what you were able to accomplish. Can you tell us a little bit about your Eagle project, just so that we, and please go to the microphone, and tell us a little bit about your Eagle project.
It dealt with landscaping at the Hosanna Lutheran Church out front in Liberty.
Great. Also, I understand that you are that you are a member of the Civil Air Patrol and you're in line for a promotion of some sort. Could you tell us a little about that?
I became cadet commander of my squadron in Civil Air Patrol.
Oh, well, that's great, because I understood that you were anticipating that, so congratulations. Certainly achieving that rank is a great honor and took a lot of hard work on your part. And you're accompanied by your mother?
Yes.
Very good, proud mother. With that, we will take a moment to stand down. We will present you with the resolution. Unless there's any other comments that anybody would like to make. Commissioners, any further comments? No. We will stand at ease for a moment. We will get some pictures and present the resolution to you. That brings us to discussion items. We have no items under discussion this evening. Public hearings, we have the 2021 tax levy for our public hearing. So with that, we will open, I believe I need to gavel that in, do I not? It needs to be open. There we go. I'd like to open any public comments on the 2021 tax levies. Are there any members of the public who would like to make any comments? I'll ask one more time. Are there any members of the public who'd like to make any comments for the public hearing on the 2021 tax levies? Very well, seeing none, that would close our hearing on our public hearing on the tax levies. Thank you. That brings us to our consent agenda. Is there a motion related to tonight's consent agenda?
Commissioner, I move that we approve tonight's consent agenda as published.
Motion has been made for the passage of our consent agenda as published. Discussion. Commissioner Thompson, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I don't, thank you.
Is there anyone from the public who would like to comment on tonight's consent agenda? Seeing none, Commissioner Carpenter, you are recognized to close.
Thank you. I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes?
That brings us to tonight's regular agenda. We'll begin with 2021-265. Mr. Administrator.
Commissioners, 2021-265 is a request to approve a scope and fee proposal for design and planning work with Cook, Flatt, and Strobel and Bibb engineers, architects, and constructors. This is a request from the Sheriff's Office, and Captain Agdarian is here for further comment.
Please proceed.
Good evening, Commissioners. Captain Amy Agdarian, Clay County Sheriff's Office. This is the request for commission approval to proceed with the site work and the initial investigation into what it's going to take to develop the land for the Law Enforcement Resource Center to include the firing range that we have discussed in previous sessions.
Very well. Are there any questions or comments from the commissioners? Commissioner Carpenter?
No, just thank you again for the update and looking forward to the work getting underway.
Right on. Good.
Commissioner Thompson?
No, thank you.
Is there a motion related to 2021-265?
I'll make a motion to approve 221-265.
Motion's been made for the approval of 2021-265. Any further discussion? Are there any members of the public who would like to comment on 2021-265? Seeing none. Commissioner Thompson, you are recognized to close.
I close?
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
That brings us to 2021-266. Mr. Administrator.
Commissioners, 2021-266 is a request to approve a customer relationship agreement with Aramark Refreshment Services. Again, a request from the Sheriff's Department, and Captain Agdarian is here for further comment.
Please proceed.
Captain Amy Agdarian, Clay County Sheriff's Office. This request is for commission approval of a contract between the Sheriff's Office and Aramark Refreshment Company. Ordinarily, something like this we'd be able to just go ahead and enter into the agreement for purchasing of the coffee and water services. And however, in this particular case, the reason we're bringing it to you is because it is a contract services over a period of time. And given that it indebts the county to a monetary value every month, obligates us to that, we want to make sure that we're following all the purchasing agreements and bringing it to you for you to sign the contract, since the Sheriff's Office cannot.
Very good. Are there any questions from the commission?
No, thank you.
No questions. Thank you.
Is there a motion related to 2021-266?
I move that we approve 2021-266.
Motion's been made for the approval of 2021-266. Discussion. Is there anyone from the public who would care to comment on this item? Seeing none. Commissioner Thompson, do you have any comment?
I don't. No, thank you.
Commissioner Carpenter, you're recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
And Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
By the way, just for those who may be watching or here in the room, we are going through these quickly. These are items that have been heard once before, so this is kind of the second reading. So we have already discussed these in some detail. So we have given them a good deal of thought. So in case it feels like we're going through rather quickly, it's because this is the second time through these issues and commissioners are familiar with each of these items. That brings us to 2021 Ordinance 40. Mr. Administrator.
Commissioners, 2021 Ordinance 40 is a request by the Sheriff's Department to reappropriate and revise the adopted budget for the current year. And again, Captain Agdarian is here with comments.
Please proceed.
Captain Amy Agdarian, Clay County Sheriff's Office. I'm trying to keep my comments short, as you noted, because we have already discussed this quite much at length, but this particular request is the result of Senate Bill 53, which passed in July of this year, that allocated funding to feminine hygiene products for female inmates at no cost to them. So when the county received this revenue, there really wasn't a place to put it because it was a new source of revenue. So we created the auditor's office created a new revenue line, and we are asking to reappropriate that so it can go into an expenditure line for the sheriff's office to provide these products for our female inmates.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions of the captain?
Thank you.
No questions. Thank you.
Is there a motion related to 2021 Ordinance 40?
Make a motion to approve 2021 Ordinance 40.
Motion's been made for the approval of 2021 Ordinance 40. Discussion. Are there any members of the public who would care to comment? Seeing none. If there are no further comments from the commission, Commissioner Thompson, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
That brings us to 2021-248. Mr. Administrator.
Commissioners, 2021-248 is a request to approve agreements for WebEx capability upgrades with audio acoustics. This is a request from the Circuit Clerk's Office. I don't believe there's anybody here from that office tonight due to the second reading.
Okay. Can you give us a quick overview?
Oh, sure, I'm sorry. Yes, this is designed to provide web ability to enhance the use of microphones and speakers in the various courtrooms. There's multiple courtrooms involved. There's at least 6, I believe. And again, it's just a request to enhance and expand their ability to have remote meetings and to communicate while people are in that particular room as well.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments on 2021-248?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Is there a motion related to 2021-248?
I move that we approve 2021-248.
Motion's been made for the approval of 2021-248. Discussion, is there any comment from anyone from the public? Seeing none, if there are no further comments from the commission, then Commissioner Carpenter, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
That brings us to 2021-258 and 259, which are companion issues. Mr. Administrator.
Commissioners, this companion issue is a request for planning and zoning to replat a lot in the subdivision Yosemite West. Mr. Jones with the Planning and Zoning Department is here to make additional comments.
Please proceed.
Kip Jones, Planning and Zoning Manager. So this is the rezoning and final plat for the replat of Lot 5 Yosemite West that we discussed last week. Got it pulled up on the screen. It's approximately 23-ish acres proposed to be subdivided into 2 lots. Lot 5A would be roughly 15 acres, Lot 5B roughly 8 acres. It's located in the urban services tier. We talked last week how the guide for the comprehensive plan in this tier is to do a 10-plus acre lot, but both staff and the Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed the request, considered the 5 rezoning criteria, and both recommended approval of the rezoning and final plat. The applicant received all their outside agency approvals, and the Planning and Zoning Commission voted 4-0 to recommend approval, and we did not receive any opposition leading up to or during the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. I'd be happy to answer any questions the commissioners may have, and the applicant is present as well.
Are there any questions from the commission of Mr. Jones?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Very well. If the applicant is present, they are certainly welcome to speak. It is not required, but certainly we want to make sure we afford that opportunity. So if the applicant would like to say anything, they're more than welcome to do so. Very well. Applicant declines. With that, is any further discussion? Is there a motion related to 2021-258, 259?
I'll make a motion to approve 221, 258, and 259.
Motion's been made for the approval of 2021, 258, and 259. Discussion, is there any member of the public who would care to comment on this issue? Seeing none. Is there any further comment or question from the commission? In that case, Commissioner Thompson, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
That brings us to 2021-260, 261, and 262. Mr. Administrator.
Commissioners, 2021-260 and 261 and 262 are all a planning zoning request for approval of addition to a subdivision, Lillian's Landing. This is again from Planning and Zoning, and Mr. Jones is here with further comments.
Please proceed.
Kip Jones, Planning and Zoning Manager. This is a rezoning preliminary and final for Lillian's Landing. It's proposed as a 3-lot subdivision. Also have it pulled up on the screen. If you remember from last week, this was the proposal that was initially going to be a 4-lot subdivision. Both staff and Planning and Zoning Commission recommended denial. The applicant withdrew that case, resubmitted it as 3 roughly 6-acre lots. It's located just west of the Highway Department on 116th, and it's just east of I-35. And it's also within a mile of the city of Liberty. This is similar to the previous case where it's located in the urban services tier, which guides us that a 10-acre minimum is what is recommended. Staff again and the Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed the surrounding lots, reviewed the 5 rezoning criteria, and both agreed that this should be approved. The applicant received all their outside agency approvals. The one update that I would have for the commission is in the staff report, it indicates that there's a barn on one of the lots that was going to be demolished. The applicant came to planning and zoning this week and asked if it had to be demolished. It meets the standards to be considered a non-conforming structure, which basically means it's allowed to exist as it is now. It could only be expanded if it's expanded away from the road and has a smaller footprint than the house. So that's the one small change to this proposal. The Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend approval with a 4-0 vote, and we did receive opposition, as we stated during the meeting last week. And I would be happy to answer any questions the commission has, and I do not believe the applicant is present.
Thank you. Could you point out where the building is that you referred to, the barn?
Yes, so this is the house that's also a non-conforming structure, and then this is the barn that they decided they did not want to demolish.
Okay. Are there any questions from the commission?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Very well. And you indicated that the applicant was not present this evening? Ah, very good. We just started on your application. We certainly are welcome to come up at this point and say anything you'd care to. You're not required to speak, but if you'd like to, we certainly wouldn't mind hearing anything that you had to say or any thoughts you'd like to express to the commission. Okay. The applicant declines unless we have questions, and he is willing to answer them. With that, are there any further questions from the commission?
No questions. I appreciate the testimony from the applicant last week. I thought it was helpful, and I'm comfortable moving forward with this approval.
With that, is there a motion related to 2021-260, 261, and 262?
I move that we approve 2021-260, 261, and 262.
Application. Motion has been made for the approval of 2021-260, 261, and 262. Is there any member of the public who would like to comment? Seeing none, if there are no further comments from the commission, I recognize that Commissioner Carpenter to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes?
That brings us to 2021 Ordinance 38. Mr. Administrator.
Commissioners, 2021 Ordinance 38 is about setting the tax levies for the year 2021, and Auditor Hurlburt is here with further comment.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Administrator. Yes, good evening, Commission. Victor Hurlburt, Clay County Auditor. As we discussed last week in the work session, this is the annual setting of tax levies. 2021 Ordinance 38 is for county government purposes. We are required by the Hancock Amendment and Missouri Constitution to not have an increase in our revenues from property taxes greater than the inflation rate set by the State Tax Commission. And in addition, there's the unique quality with the general fund that we have to have a sales tax rollback because of that language in the sales tax ballot. All in all, our general fund levy reduces from essentially a nickel on every $100 assessed valuation to 0.338, just about a 32% decrease. But of course, assessed valuations have gone up, as I discussed last week, about 16% from $4.6 billion to $5.4 billion. And the county road and bridge levy maximum ceiling would go down from 0.0766 to 0.0697. So that is 2021 Ordinance 38, and that's a 9% decrease on the road and bridge. But again, you have the offset with the increased valuation. So I'll open for questions.
Very good. Are there any questions of the auditor?
No, thank you.
No, but thank you for the information last week as well. Thank you.
Is there a motion related to 2021 Ordinance 38?
I'll make a motion to approve 2021 Ordinance 38.
Motion has been made for the approval of 2021 Ordinance 38. Discussion. Are there any members of the public who would like to comment on this issue? Seeing none, if there are no further comments from the commission, Commissioner Thompson, you're recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
That brings us to 2021 Ordinance 39. Mr. Administrator.
Commissioners, 2021 Ordinance 39 is again for setting outside tax levies for the year 2021. And again, Auditor Hurlburt is here with further comment.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Administrator. Yes, again, Victor Hurlburt, Clay County Auditor, and 2021 Ordinance 39 is for those outside agencies, component units of the county who share the same countywide assessed valuation as us. And the changes, as we can see, for the Mental Health Board is from 0.0942 to 0.0857 is the ceiling this year. For DDRB, that ceiling is 0.1028. And for senior services, that ceiling is 0.0427 on $100 of assessed valuation. Before I close, we do have representatives here tonight from DDRB who would like to make comment if they would like to just speak about the good work they do at DDRB. So I'll open to them.
While we're waiting for those members to come forward, are there any questions from the Commission of the Auditor?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Please identify yourself and
Rick White, Clay County Developmental Disabilities Resource Board, Executive Committee, and Treasurer. Good evening to our commissioners. We're pleased to be here this evening to ask the commissioners to set the levy for the Developmental Disabilities Resource Board for 2021. DDRB was established what was known as the SB 40 bill. The law, the taxpayers voted to fund the levy originally in the amount of .1200 per $100 to be used to provide services for the developmentally and intellectually disabled citizens of Clay County. We currently serve over 1,275 adults and 100 children, the children birth to age 3. We fund vocational workshops, community-supported employment, and day habilitation programs. We provide funding to support homes and transportation to get residents from home to work and back. We provide funding for community integration in the form of recreation and education, as well as a number of therapy programs which include autism and therapeutic horseback riding. We provide funding for early education and intervention programs, which include services for children who are visually impaired as well as developmentally disabled. All the agencies we fund are required to be approved by DMH, as well as holding a national certification from CARF or other accredited body. DDRB partners with the Department of Mental Health, Division of the Developmental Disabilities for diagnosis, Medicaid waiver support, oversight of the programs and service providers. We provide matching funds for the Partnership of Hope waiver to over 30 agencies monthly, providing a multitude of services and support that might not otherwise be available due to lack of funding. In addition, we partner with the Department of Mental Health to provide case management services through the Center of Human Services, funding which is not part of the tax levy, but a large portion of the good that the DDRB does. Without the generosity of the taxpayers of Clay County, these children and adults and their families would find life definitely more challenging, and I can speak to that personally. On behalf of all the agencies and staff that benefit from these tax dollars, and more importantly, the residents of Clay County that receive direct benefits of these funds, we express our gratitude and appreciation. The necessary information has been provided to the State Auditor's Office to set the levy. The appropriate documentation has been approved by the DDRB Board and sent to the Clay County Clerk to set and certify the levy in accordance with the law at .1028 for the tax year 2021. We ask the Commissioners to approve and to set the levy accordingly. Thank you.
thank you very much. want to say that this is an issue that I've been somewhat involved in off and on for a number of years. One of the first issues I was involved in when I became a state representative was to restore funding to the First Steps program. It was something that I regarded as important at the time, and as I've come to know you and some of the other folks involved in this endeavor, certainly anything that we can be doing to help forward the great work that you're doing is something I would certainly be in favor of doing. So the hard work that your board does, and even more importantly, the hard work that those people who are working on a personal level with the people who have these disabilities and other impairments, they are certainly to be commended beyond words. So certainly appreciate that. Commissioner Thompson, do you have anything you'd like to say?
I do. I'll keep it very brief, though, but I want to thank you for coming in today and bringing us all this information. And a lot of people are not aware of what the DDRB does, and I will tell you, you guys do terrific work in our community. And you guys know, as county clerk, I worked with you guys for years, and there's not much I can say besides thank you to you and all of the board members and for all the work you do. And if there's anything you need, you come talk to us. We're going to get that fixed.
Commissioner Carpenter.
Just that I totally agree. It's incredibly important work, and I'm grateful to those of you who serve on the board, as well as the direct care professionals who do this work day in and day out. And the fact that taxpayers here in Clay County help fund that, I think, is not only the right thing to do, but I think obviously impacts thousands of people in a positive way, and I'm grateful that we do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming here and sharing the story of the DDRB and the work that they do. Are there any other persons who would like to comment on 2021 Ordinance 39? With that, is there a motion related to 2021 Ordinance 39?
I move that we approve 2021 Ordinance 39.
Motion's been made for the approval of 2021 Ordinance 39. Discussion. I just asked a moment ago for any public comment. I still see none. If there is no further comment from the commission, then I will recognize Commissioner Carpenter to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes?
That brings us to 2021-244. Mr. Administrator.
Commissioners, 2021-244 is to request to approve apportionment of the fines, interest, and escrow of Clay County, and Treasurer Nance is here for further comment.
Please proceed.
Bob Nance, Treasurer, Commissioners, it's good to be here. Just share with you what we did last week also. We have $593,000 from fines, interest, and tax sales that each year we send to the schools, and it is sent out by the enrollment numbers. And so we are sending, or want to send, $593,000, and we just ask for your approval.
Thank you very much. And this is something that comes up annually, if I remember from last week's discussion.
Yes, it's usually paid out the end of September.
Very good.
Last year, it was about $549,000. Okay. So just a little higher.
Great. Are there any questions of the treasurer from the commission? Seeing none, is there a motion related to 2021-244?
I'll make a motion to approve 2021-244.
Motion's been made for the approval of 2021-244. Discussion. Are there any members of the public who would care to comment on this issue? Seeing none, unless there's further comment from the commission?
No, thank you.
I recognize Commissioner Thompson to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes?
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
By the way, thank you, Mr. Treasurer, for putting those numbers together. That brings us to 2021-270. Mr. Administrator.
Commissioners, 2021-270 is a request to approve a MoDOT funding grant application from the Missouri Department of Transportation. This is a request of Highway, and Deputy Administrator Walters is here to make additional comments.
Please proceed.
Good evening, Commissioners. Carl Walters, Deputy Director of Administrations for Clay County. This is a grant application from MoDOT for $3,300,000 million. It's a 90-10 grant, which we'd be paying $394,000 of our portion of it. This is just an application signifying that we are interested. No monies is to be done. We asked for it in the 2022 budget for the grant monies for next year. So it's for the overlay for the asphalt of the runway, which is in dire need.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions of the Deputy Administrator?
No, thank you.
No questions, thank you.
By the way, I want to make note of it again, we are pretty proud of our airport. It is one of the larger airports of its sort. Our runway is longer than many others, and that affords us the ability to service more aircraft. Is that
Yes.
accurate?
Yes.
Very good. Is there a motion on 2021-270?
I move that we approve 2021-270.
Motion has been made for the approval of 2021-270. Discussion, are there any members of the public who would like to comment? Seeing none, if there are no further comments from the commission, then I will recognize Commissioner Carpenter to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
That brings us to 2021-245. Mr. Administrator.
Commissioners, 2021-245 is a request to approve equipment support agreements with Tipton Systems. This is a request from Parks, and Deputy Administrator Kuntz is here for additional comments.
Please proceed.
Hi, good evening. Deputy County Administrator Donna Kuntz. This is a maintenance service agreement for two pieces of equipment that we bought for the Parks Department this summer. One is a check scanner, and one is they call it a cash recycler. It is basically a machine that counts our cash for us, that counts all the fee booths, marinas, concession money that comes into the office. The maintenance agreement gives us any software updates. It cleans the machines. Money is kind of a dirty item that we have to handle. And allows us to have training for any new staff members.
Very good. Are there any questions of the Deputy Administrator on this issue?
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Very well. Is there a motion related to 2021-245?
Make a motion to approve 221-245.
Motion has been made for the approval of 2021-245. Discussion. Are there any members of the public who would care to comment? Seeing none, if there are no further questions or comments from the commission, Commissioner Thompson, you're recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
That brings us to, by the way, thank you both Deputy Administrators. This brings us to 2021 Ordinance 37. Mr. Administrator.
Commissioners, 2021 Ordinance 37 is a request to reappropriate and revise the adopted budget for the current year to accommodate an unbudgeted election that will take place in November for the law enforcement sales tax renewal, unanticipated budget, and it needs to simply be revised to accommodate that election.
Very good. Are there any questions about 2021 Ordinance 37?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Seeing none, is there a motion related to 2021 Ordinance 37?
I move that we approve 2021 Ordinance 37.
Motion has been made for the approval of 2021 Ordinance 37. Is there any comment from the public? Seeing none, if there is no further comment from the commission, Commissioner Carpenter, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
2021-242 was removed from the agenda for tonight, so that completes our regular agenda. That brings us to comments on non-agenda items. Are there any members of the public who would like to comment on any items not on this evening's agenda? Seeing none. Are there any office holders who would like to comment on any issues not on tonight's agenda? Seeing none. Are there any agencies who would like to comment on any items not on this evening's agenda? Seeing none. Mr. Administrator, do you have any comments you'd like to make?
Just briefly, the Liberty Fall Fest was a rousing success this weekend, enormous turnout and a lot of fun had by all. I would simply remind other Clay Countyans that this is Gladfest weekend in Gladstone, and hope they'll do the same and turn out and enjoy another weekend of fall fun.
Very good. Thank you very much. That brings us to Commissioner comments. Commissioner Thompson, do you have any comments you'd like to make?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Carpenter?
I do not. Thank you.
I also have no comments this evening. That brings us to approval of minutes of previous sessions. There are none listed this evening. Are there any written reports to be submitted to the commission?
Yes, we have two reports, and I think you all, you commissioners have them in front of you. One of them is the Gladstone Special Road District Annual Report, and the other one is from the Northland Neighborhood, their annual report. And that's it.
Thank you very much. There are no executive sessions listed for this evening. That brings us to adjournment. We are adjourned. Thank you. Under 45?
Jerry, that was record.
Could be worse.